Hi there, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas, here at the home of 10,000 felonies. It is January 6, 2019, about 3:37 in the afternoon. I'm going to do a go live. I don't do that very often. And one of the things I want to talk about or focus on is possible motives for murder. And there's a lot more known about what happened because we have all the evidence, and so that's real clear. But why is still out there due to the lack of investigation, to the public corruption, just the blatant uh, um, injustice that's going on. And so I've went through here and found different files and different stories I'm going to tell you about that I believe could be possible motives for murder. It could be any of these. It could be a group of them or whatever. And I'll tell you some of them stories. But the first thing I want to talk about is we have to establish that it's a murder attempt, right? And I think we can all agree that if I wasn't shot with my gun, then somebody come to my home and shot me. And since I was home minding my own business, then we know that in itself that's capital attempted murder. Nobody accidentally breaks into a private home, accidentally ambushes and shoots the homeowner. Okay, that's a capital attempted murder. They had to load their guns, come to my house. They had to plan in advance. I know that because several reasons. One, I'm here, but let's just take my testimony out, okay? Of burglar alarms were going off. We do know, though, that my first call for a burglary was 14 months before, and we know there were repeated felonies reported to the police, to the Texas Ranger, to the FBI, and then I'd also reported a suspected tunnel to the DEA just 2 weeks earlier. Okay, and so all that's fact. You don't need my word for that, But the day I'm shot, I had burglar alarms going off here in my home, in my attic. But some of the evidence we come back to that I say to prove that I wasn't shot with my gun is that the size of the pellets removed from my foot per the lab report were 2.5 sizes difference than what was in my gun. Okay, and so that's like a guy's shot with a 45, and there's a guy got a 22. Did he shoot the guy? No, he didn't. How do we know that? Ballistic evidence. Ballistic evidence. It's admissible in courts, used every day to convict people and etc. And so we know for a fact I wasn't shot with my gun. There's also a lot of collaborating evidence. Okay, if I was shot with my gun, as these corrupt police claimed, okay, the secret police, right, as they claimed, then with the shotguns, what was the claim? Then there would be an empty shotgun shell. There wasn't an empty shotgun shell. Okay, I mean it's not in evidence, and we're right off the bat. Once again, that collaborates what I'm saying. The reason no empty shotgun shell is found or checked in evidence because I wasn't shot with my gun. Somebody come to my home and shot me. That's the same reason the pellet size is different. The other thing I've shown in other videos, there's not enough room in that little bitty room to be shot with a 4-foot long gun. I believe I shot with a handgun actually. And this ain't all about that, but it's just saying that the evidence is clear. I wasn't shot with my gun. That makes this a murder attempt, and we're going to talk about the possible motives for murder. Okay, and so and I have some files here that I'm going to show you and I'll upload after this video because I noticed on Go Live when I try to show a picture off my monitor, it does a mirror image and you can't see it and it don't work right. I have to upload the image, and so the number one thing I'm gonna look at, I'm gonna show you. I'm actually gonna move here in a minute and take you in my bedroom or whatever, or not my bathroom, and I'm gonna show you some pry marks on a door that showed me that a home intruder. Remember, I had repeated burglaries. That a burglar got trapped inside my home on the day that I'm shot. Okay, that's one possible motive for murder, and I'm going to go through that and show you the evidence I found when I got out of the hospital. But I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go on and I'm going to talk about some of the other motives, possible motives. The number one possible motive here, and the obvious one, and surely this is a part of it, is the tunnels in the underground facility. 2 weeks before I'm shot, I reported a suspected tunnel to the DEA. Okay, that's a fact. Check the phone records. I've listed that phone number on how many times. Not just the Midland DA, but the El Paso and the Midland DEA. Okay, and then a previous owner that used to live in my house named Ricky Ronaldo contacted me and told me him and his brother used to go in the tunnels underneath his house. I took a print screen of that. I post it all the time. Another woman, Rhonda Denman Rogers, she writes me on Facebook, and we're talking, and I said, hey, there's an underground facility somewhere around here, and she writes back, go, I know, it's a half block away. I print screened it, posted it many times. The ex-wife, she's the first one that mentioned an underground facility a year before I'm shot, or not that long, but 6 months before I'm shot. And what she says at the time is, well, if there is an underground facility, well, then these people ain't going to want to give that up, you know. And basically, she's warning me that these people are secret police protected, cold-blooded killers that break into private homes and murder good citizens. That was what she was warning me. Okay. And so we have, and then there's other ones that I'm not even mentioning here. There's a woman that called me on the phone. I have a video on it, a secretly recorded phone call. She told me there's 4 3-bedroom homes, 25 foot deep, each costing over $1 million apiece. I believe that to be the truth. Maybe one of them's under my home, and so that means there's 3 more out here somewhere. And then that's a whole nother video I could do and have done. Okay. Another huge possible motive is the life insurance and the home. Okay. Less than a month before I'm shot, the ex-wife takes my life insurance booklets. We had just separated from a 3-month marriage. Okay. And I'm getting a question here, Anna, that I'm reading on the screen. Aren't you scared? And I've been asked that many times. Aren't you scared to stay there in that house? And what I've told people, I said, you know what's scary is laying on the floor in a puddle of blood with a group of secret police on their way over to call your murder an accident. That's scary, you know. And I've had burglar alarms going off in this home hundreds of times, and you don't have to take my word for it. I got them videos on YouTube and Facebook, and so people cannot even imagine what I've been through. Okay, but what I also know is that homes don't kill people. Okay, people kill people. And so the danger is still going to be here until we stop these killers, okay? Because we're going to see here that they bought special ammunition and come to my home, cut my phone lines, shot me, listened to me scream for help, waiting for me to die. And then the secret police come in. These are cold-blooded killers right here. You know, there's no doubt about it. I have reason to believe they killed the guy that lived here before me. Back to the life insurance, okay? There was altogether, I calculated it up, about $1.5 million, and most of that was insurance money. I was almost a 30-year company man. I had saved in a 401k for many years, so I had my 401k, and then I had maxed out all my life insurance benefits for my loved ones, you know, because life insurance does nothing for me after I'm dead. It's for the ones that I love, right? And since I had just filed divorce 5 days before I'm shot from a person that's alleged to be involved in the shooting, you know, if my murder would have been ruled an accident by her childhood friend, Detective Rosa Rodriguez, then she was going to get an additional $500,000. That's what was in the books right there. That was on top of what she was going to get anyway, plus a paid-for home, a very special paid-for home, because it has this underground access connected to $1 million facility, all suspected of being connected to human trafficking, you know. And so, huge motive. At the time that this is going on, I'm tear gassing the attic and calling the DEA. I'm a problem for the human traffickers. They're fixing to get busted, okay? Because I was getting tired of this crap that's going on at my house, these repeated break-ins. And not only do they break in, but they steal from me, okay? Because they can't stay here without stealing the heating and the cooling, etc., you know? And so they're literally stealing from me. And they're not taking TVs, and they're not getting in my bank account that I know of. But they're definitely stealing your sense of security, you know, and now, especially now that I know they're killers. There for a long time, you know, I was kind of naive and thought, well, they're not that dangerous until they cut my phone lines and shot me, and then it became clear they're very dangerous. So there's another possible motive for murder is money and property. Okay, and interestingly, the ex-wife had told me a couple of weeks while we were still together, she came in 100% seriousness and said, the secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit. Okay, she's dead serious. She didn't just say a group of doctors are killing Buddy for profit. She said people. That means I believed her then. I believe her now. I believe that's true. I have a feeling we're going to find out when this is all over that group of doctors is was involved in the premeditation, pre-planning, and murder attempt, and it was going to make the sister-in-law of one of them doctors very wealthy, okay? Plus free up this home that I believe is connected to human trafficking. There's another motive for murder. I found out about the group of doctors that are killing people for profit. That would be a reason to kill me because she had told me that, okay? And so I testified in court on that. I've got a transcript where I testified under oath that I had been told that she told me that, okay? And what she didn't tell me was that her brother-in-law was a doctor, okay? And then come to find out he was my doctor when I got to the hospital the night I'm shot, and that's when the x-rays got faked, you know? And then later on, when I'm doing research on who owns the houses and all that, I find the builder of this home, Tabor Construction, whatever, they had an address on Mark Lane, 3217 Mark Lane. And I happened to look up that address, and I found that ER doctor, my brother-in-law, used to own the same home that the builder of this home lived in. My mouth fell open. I couldn't even believe it. And so, anyway, there's another possible motive for murder. And then we have Matt Hyman. Matt Hyman is 33-year-old landman attorney. Okay, landman are some of my top suspects because they're the ones that I feel like would be involved in oil show parties and the link back to prostitution. Okay, and then I believe the underground facility was hosting oil show parties. And that's where the young girl was murdered at in 2010 that I was told about. It was an oil show party going on in this underground facility. Okay, what that means is that you've got billion-dollar companies, okay, and millionaires and billionaires that the stock price drops, right, of their company once it goes public, that they had people that were involved in a prostitution party. But the real truth is the link between prostitution and the oil field and roughnecks and all that whole thing is infamous. I've heard of these parties my whole life. Anybody that's lived here in the middle of the oil field has heard about these wild prostitution parties, okay? I've never been to one. I didn't know where it was. Now I believe it's in the underground facilities. That's where they're having it. And then I believe that girl was murdered, young girl, in 2010. And there's another motive for murder. I was told that from the woman I was dating at Clandesta that girl was murdered, okay? And I was trying to get it reported. That's a motive for somebody to kill me, is I found out about that girl being murdered, okay? And so, and you can look it up. I think it is on KMID, has a news story. 2013, the Midland Sheriff Department found the remains of a young girl between 14 and 21 years old, still unidentified. I believe it's the girl I was told about back in 2010 that didn't wake up, that was overdosed at that oil show party, that most likely happened under my home. Another interesting thing that might tie into that, there was a guy that contacts me, a local Mason, and he asked me, he said, do you know the names of the 4 people that were murdered, died in your house? I didn't know 4 people were murdered, died in my house. You know, I mean, the last homeowner, I had people telling me that he died. My neighbor told me he died in my house, but officially he died in Fort Worth, okay? But I believe he would die here. I believe he's murdered here, okay? I suspected Rini Escobar Sanchez, still missing man from Odessa, might be one of them, okay? Maybe this girl that I'm told about in the 2010, maybe he's talking about her, but Aaron Packelhofer, he obviously knows. Somebody should ask him, who are them 4 people that was murdered in Buddy's house, okay? And so, because I found out about that, this Matt Hyman story, I've got a video on it, and you ought to go watch it on YouTube. It's real interesting. It talks about when I was tear gas in the attic after the ex-wife left, before I'm shot. There's only less than a month period, okay? And so I tear gas the attic, and I got them real good. I could hear them coughing the next day, and then I'm shot a couple weeks later, you know. But what happened is, a few days after I tear gas the attic, I was worried about retribution because I knew I'd got these home intruders good with that tear gas. And then that weekend, on that Saturday, on January 14th, 2012, I noticed somebody was trying to come in my bedroom door. And it spooked me, and you know, and so I quickly locked the door, shut the door, and I get this idea, and I give God all the praise and glory. I took an electrical cord, and I stripped the wire off of it, and I wrapped it around the door handle, and I plugged it in, Okay, so if you're on the other side in the hallway inside my home trying to come in here to kill me, and you grab that door handle, you die. You know what I mean? That's what happens. Okay, and so it was a safe room. I built a safe room to save my life. And there's a reason I did that, because I think they murdered Mike Lawhon, the previous homeowner, and I think they kicked in that back door. I showed you where there was a hole in the back door when I first bought this home that wasn't there when I first looked at the home. And so I think his killers kicked in the door. And so I was worried about them kicking in my door, coming in at me, giving me a fatal overdose, and then coming up with some bullcrap story, maybe carried me to Fort Worth, you know? I mean, I don't know, but anyway, I put that on there. And so I think it might have saved my life. After I'm shot, 2 weeks later, I'm shot. After I'm shot, I go back and I start checking the obituaries, going, I wonder if somebody died that day. And I find this 33-year-old landman, okay, named Matt Hyman, attorney landman, and he died on the same exact day. Okay, well, that's kind of young, but I didn't know how he died. I didn't know nothing about him, you know. And so I posted it on Facebook. His sister-in-law was a Facebook friend. She was my nurse. And she says, yeah, it wasn't him, you know. He died at his house, you know, and only his wife was there. And I said, and I'm thinking, well, how'd he die? Because, you know, if he died of cancer, it wasn't him, right? You know, we eliminated him. Oh, he had a heart problem nobody knew about. And I asked her, I said, was he messing with electricity? Because electricity will stop your heart, you know. And no, he wasn't messing with electricity. And well, I'm thinking, well, when did he die? You know, because if he died in the morning, then I knew it wasn't him, you know. And, oh, it was that evening, you know. And so the time frame was right. How he died was right. 33-year-old mystery heart failure, and he's a landman, you know. And so, I post this stuff, even her message on my Facebook, and two of his friends who are landmans, right, threatened me, okay, on my Facebook. One of them's threatening to sue me. The other one, he making insinuations that I'm going to get beaten up. And he worked for my company. You know, he was a landman, right? And so there's a whole big connection with landmen. I've got more stories, but that ain't about that. The Lawhon, previous homeowner, when I died 2 weeks before I moved in here, 27 years old. I had two little boys. And my neighbor across the street, Marilyn DeLuigi, she's moved at the time. I think it might be Marilyn DeLuigi Love now or something. But anyways, she told me twice that Mike died in my house. And one time she looked at me and says, I should know, right? It's like, yeah, you should know. You live right across the street, right? And it convinced me, you know. And then when I did my research, it was confusing at first until I figured out what was going on. What happened was the Odessa American posted the first death notice for him on October 14th, 2008. He died on the 12th. Okay, and they said he died in Fort Worth. Okay, but 4 days later, they posted a second death notice and changed the location of death to say residence. Now, that didn't accidentally get changed, you know. Nobody would accidentally, somebody on purpose with forethought did that. They thought, oh, we've got to change that and repost it. And you have to ask the question, why did they do that, okay? And I think the answer is obvious. The reason is Mike Lawhon did die here in Midland at this house, just like Marilyn DeLuigi said, and they took him to Fort Worth so they could cover up his murder. They sold it to the next sucker. That was me, right? 2 years later, I figured out this home's rigged for racketeering and child sex trafficking and all these truckers coming and going the 24/7 sex trafficking business over there. And so once I called the DEA, all of a sudden they set me up to have an accident and kill me, you know. So there's your next possible motive for murder. Okay. Another one, and is the rape and murder story in 2010 at the oil show. And this happened 2 months before Haley Nunn went missing. This was just maybe a month before I made my first call for a burglary of this house, dating a woman that worked with at Clay Desta. And she told me these guys approached her. They told her, they didn't ask her, they told her that she'd be working at this party during the oil show, prostitution party, I believe it was under this house. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Rotate your device. Okay. We're having a little technical problems because my phone popped out of my tripod. Sorry about that. Anyways, okay. My friend that I worked with, that I was dating, that worked at the Clay Desta, And she would come by here in the morning, and then we'd go to work because we work in the same building. We'd get off work, we'd come back here, okay, to my home, okay. And then she would have to go to the party yet this week. We would talk on the phone as she would leave. We'd also talk on the phone during the evenings, okay. And so she would leave here, and we'd be on the phone, and 5 minutes later, she's at the location of that party. Okay, I suspect, I don't have no proof, but I suspect that she drove around and somewhere on the other side of the Home Depot, going to the Home Depot, maybe. That's a real possibility, maybe going underground there. That's a whole nother story, but it's within 5 minutes of this house. That's why I think she was in the underground facility that Rhonda Denman Rogers said was a half block away. Okay, and so, and I know from the phone conversations, she at 11 o'clock, she'd have to go take her pill. There was a lot of other people there, like the girl that didn't want to prostitute, that didn't wake up, right? That they murdered. And I'm sure a lot of people. This is an international oil show. You can bet there's a lot of people. And another story on that is after I shot, I was in the Home Depot, and I was talking to a clerk, and so I heard my story. I tell everybody my story, and she just blurts out of the blue, says, "If you happen to see a lot of cars in the parking lot late at night, it's because we're stalking." Well, I hadn't seen that, and I hadn't thought about that, you know. And but I was, you know, I was putting it all together, and I'm thinking that ex-wife had insinuated and basically told me there were a lot of people here on the night I'm shot. And if there's a lot of people, where did they park? Okay, obviously they're in the underground facility. Okay, well, maybe they're parked in that parking lot, right? And the cover story is we're stalking, and maybe that's why she told me that. Maybe the same thing is going on during the oil show parties. Okay, if you happen to see a lot of people parking lot late at night, it's because they're stalking. Had another Facebook friend writes me, and I've got a print screen of this, and I hadn't released his name. As he said, he asked his friend, this girl that was working at Home Depot, about the basement under it, and she told him, she says, "You don't need to talk about that. It's dangerous. Don't talk about that." Okay, and he wrote that to me. I print screen it and I post that all the time. So because I found out about the young girl being murdered at the oil show party, the prostitution parties, and all that, then there's another possible motive for murder. And then the last one I'll hit on is 52 days, the month before that I'm ambushed and shot in my home. My mom dies over in Hobbs. Okay, and then I figure out that I'm lied to. Okay. And so I contacted the police department. I contacted the Hobbs Police Department, and then they sent the information over to the Lee County Sheriff Department. Interestingly, 2 days before Mom died, Sheriff Kaufman died, and I knew Kaufman, you know, and I've even wondered if his death wasn't connected to this whole deal. Okay, but anyway, so I contacted them, and I told them why, you know, what happened and how I figured out that I'd been lied to about what happened with my mom's death. I was positive about it, but I also told them, I said, I can't see anybody in my family hurting my mom. You know, I come from a very close family, and you know, but I've been concerned they've been threatened or you know, or blackmailed or something. You know, I can't explain how they've reacted, but I just can't see them hurting Mom. I can't see them hurting me, you know. And so I wrote the I contacted the police department within a couple of weeks before I'm shot. So there's another motive for murder. And then even the day that I'm shot, I sent my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, an email, and I told her I'd talk to the police department. But I made it clear that, you know, I'm not suspecting anybody in my family knows anything about the crimes here in Midland, you know, and or having anything to do with you know, Mom. It's just I know that I'm lied to. Okay, and that's my mom, and it's very serious. You know, I love my mom, and she's a very fine woman. And I want the truth, you know, and I will always want the truth. I mean, because I was lied to. And so anyways, then later that day I'm shot, the same day, you know. And then 2 years after that, when that protective order came down out of the blue, and that's a whole nother injustice, you know, and mockery of justice, my attorney subpoenaed the records. And when we got the records back, I found out that my oldest daughter, was emailing Detective Rosa Rodriguez within hours of me crawling out and being shot. I didn't even, to this day, she don't talk to me, so I have no idea how my oldest daughter even knows this dirty cop. That's the dirty cop that sneaked into my home. She was the childhood friend of the ex-wife, okay? that was going that would have got all the money if I died by accident, you know. But part of them emails was that email I'd sent to my sister-in-law telling her I'd contact the police department, and it got forwarded 12 minutes after I crawled out. Then Mitzi turned around and sent that forward that email over to my daughter Jennifer, my oldest daughter. And so there's still a lot of unanswered questions. What I'm going to show you here, I'm going to move this camera, and I'm going to get back to showing you the trapped burglar. Okay, remember I hit that right at the beginning, and that's what I mainly was going to focus on today anyway. And then there's a couple things here. It makes me think that's a primary motive, or at least a partial primary motive. Okay, is that April Chandler, one of the secret police, okay, Midland police officer April Chandler, okay, at 11:03 the night that I'm shot, she's at the hospital filling out an emergency detention form. And she writes a statement at the bottom, Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent that he shot him. She started to write, he shot himself, and then she scribbled it out and changed her wording to say that he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound. Do you pick up on that? Okay, instead of saying he shot himself, which didn't happen, we've got proof of that. Okay, and I think the reason that she scribbled it out and changed it, because that would have been a direct lie, and she knew it was a lie, but he didn't shoot himself. Okay, so that's why she had to scribble that out and change her wording. He caused himself to suffer. Okay, and so if you think this out, what it sounds like is that she's blaming the homeowner that's home minding his own business, that had been reporting burglaries to his home to the police, the Texas Ranger, and the FBI for over a year, blaming me for somebody coming to my home with a gun and shooting me. Okay, cutting my phone lines and shooting me with special ammunition. Okay, that's what it sounded like. And it also fits up with something the ex-wife told me. Okay, a couple weeks after I get to the hospital, she comes by and she says, "You don't know how many lives you run with your idiocy." And she's talking about me being shot. My idiocy? Once again, I'm home minding my own business. You know, I'm an idiot, right? Because I'm home minding my own business. I'm reporting crime to law enforcement. I'm an idiot. I'm doing my civic duty, you know? And I'm the crime victim. That's what I keep saying. I'm the crime victim. I'm home by myself. They come to my home. I go to their home with guns. It's against the law. They come to my home with guns. It's against the law. That's what happened. But once again, she's blaming me, and I run lives. Well, how did I run lives? How could I run lives if I'm home minding my own business, right? And what that means is a couple things. You don't know how many means a lot of people were there, okay? So where were a lot of people parked? Maybe a parking lot that's nearby, okay? But gonna have their lives ruined. Well, why are they gonna have their lives ruined? Because of whatever they were doing in the underground facility gets exposed due to me surviving a murder attempt, okay? I think that's what that really meant. But once again, the blame was shifted. It was blaming the victim. Just like April Chandler was blaming the victim. Buddy caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound. Buddy made me pull the trigger at him in his own home while he wasn't looking. What? Right? Buddy didn't make you do anything. You stay in your home, I stay in my home. You come to my home with guns, you go to prison. Okay? Anyway, I get a little fired up about that. And then, let's see. I think I have one more example. My dad on a phone conversation. Okay? And I really believe my dad knew something before he died. And I think people in my family know something, and that's why they don't talk to me, and that's why we're estranged. But on this phone call, he's upset, and he says, "Yeah, but you had the doors tie-wired shut. You had the safety off on your gun." Once again, he was trying to shift the blame from the people breaking into my home and stealing from me, the people breaking into my home with guns and shooting me. He's trying to shift the blame back on me. I tie-wired the doors because I had a home invasion. And that's what I told him right after that. I said, I was under a home invasion. They're breaking into my home. We all have the right to live in our home. I'm going to show you what happened that day and show you these doors and the pry marks and why I believe that a burglar got trapped. And you can see here, I've got many, you look at my Facebook and YouTube, many examples of burglar alarms going off in this home. You know, I've had many, and every one of them is a felony. Just one time, they could go to prison for a decade. For one of them. There's been thousands of them. Okay, this home was rigged. I believe it was rigged before I moved here. I believe it's connected to the death of the last homeowner. Okay. what happened on the day that I'm shot, January 28, 2012, it's a Saturday, it's a cold day, almost 7 years ago. I come home, and as soon as I open my door, I'm a real neat person. Everything's tied in, orderly, and tidy. Okay, and I pick up after myself a lot. And so as soon as I open the door, I look and I see a cushion on the couch that's off. Okay, well, I picked that up. Most people wouldn't pick that up, but I picked that up because, you know, in my world, I like everything square, plumb, and level, you know. And I'm the only ones here, supposedly, right? I knew somebody had been in my house again. That's been going on for months, you know. So I was sure that once again, here's one more home invasion. And that's how I get this brilliant idea that I'm going to take tie wire and I'm going to tie wire my doors shut, okay? My spare doors shut. This is a 3-bedroom home, and I live by myself, so I only need 1 bedroom, okay? And what had been going on up to that point, because I was they were not only getting the attic, they get in the main living area of my home, is I have a burglar alarm like in a house, and it would go off in here, and I think I got them trapped in here somewhere, and the burglar alarm go off on the other side of the house, and I'd take off running over there. When I get back, they're gone, okay? So then I slowly figured out I was being tag teamed. The ex-wife had already told me in 2011 there was micro cameras in this house. Okay, so it you know, that's where I'm figuring out I'm not up against one person. I mean, we're up against a gang. I'm up against a gang of people that commit these crimes against me, and they're using technology. Okay, and then they're using diversion tactics like that. And so I figure out somebody's in my house, and I get my tie wire, and that's the reason I'm gonna tie wire this door shut, because if there's a trap door into the carpet in here, they can't run through that door and get down there. Okay, that's going to trap them. And I believe I trapped one. That's what I believe happened. Is that day I trapped a burglar in this guest bathroom, not knowing it. Okay, and so anyways, then the burglar alarm started going off. Okay, in the attic. Okay, and one thought is maybe it wasn't just the every once in a while one go off. Oh, they got in front of it accidentally deal. This was over and over and over and over and over, you know, because they only last 30 seconds. And they were repeatedly on purpose setting them off. I mean, you know, and somebody asked me, talking about being scared. You can't imagine what I've lived through, you know. But what I didn't do then was chase them, because that had what I had been doing. I had been chasing them, okay? And so that's what I was thinking. No, I ain't playing. Nobody ain't playing that game no more. I ain't going up there and chasing them. While I'm up here, somebody sneaks in and lets them out, and it's all done, you know. So they just kept setting them off, setting them off, setting them off. And so that explained me at the hospital, the nurse documented me saying the alarms kept going off over and over and over, and then that's what was happening. Okay, so I got home, I tie wired the doors, and I'll show you how I did that here. And let me kind of move. I know you're asking questions, but let me finish this story. Okay, this is we're in the hallway, and this right here is the guest bathroom, okay? And then down here's a short hallway. I'm going to move this in a minute. But straight ahead is a closet that has an attic entrance on the top. It's a little bitty closet, hall closet. On the left is a guest bathroom, and on the right is another guest bathroom, and they're mirror guest bathroom, or bedrooms. So 2 bedrooms here, little closet in the middle there, and the bathroom here. So I'm gonna, all them doors right there, I'm gonna show you here. I'm gonna tie wire them shut. Okay. See if I can get out of the way. Okay, so I'm gonna tie this door, and that's what I did. You know, I spent a couple hours tie wiring stuff up around here. You know, and so I shut these doors. You know, and I got tie wire. This is the tie wire I used actually, right? It's right here. It looks like this, okay? And nothing special, okay? And all you do is just wrap this thing around here like this, okay? Okay, wrapped it around this door, and then I went over here and I wrapped it around that door, okay? And then I went over here and I wrapped it around that door. I did a little better job than that because I'm doing it real quick right now. And then I shut this door to the guest bathroom. Okay. Now let me show you here. I'm going to back that off. So I shut the gas bathroom door, and that's how I wired it shut. Okay. And all of a sudden, all these doors are secure. Because when you try to open this door, it pulls against the other ones. Try to open that door, it pulls against the other ones. And so I had all 4 of them doors shut. I don't use them anyway. So it's no big deal. I own this house. I live here. If I want to tie wire my door shut, I'm tie wire my door shut. Okay, and then I'm ambushed and shot and crawl out and all that. Okay, I get back to I get back from the hospital 10 days later. Okay, and what I find is this door right here is it's open, and the hinge is torn off at the bottom. Okay, down there at the bottom from the wall. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this camera off, and so the hinge is torn off from the wall, and then I find pry marks here at the top of the door. Now I painted this entire home with air gun, the entire thing when I got here, and they wasn't there when I left. Okay, what that told me is that somebody was trapped in here when I tie-wired the door shut. Okay, and then once I got shot, they're panicked. Okay, so I mean, just imagine this, right? Here they are hiding back here or whatever in the bathroom, and you know, and I'm over here and I don't know it. I don't know that they're, you know, that I trapped them, and they never planned on. I mean, they always thought they could get out. Okay, I'm on the other side of there, and I do have a gun. Okay, and I'm a homeowner that they broke into my home 5,000 times, right? Terrorized me, and then their friends are calling me crazy. Them dirty cops are sitting there, and they're a part of these thieving and these home intrusion and these felony burglaries and all the crimes going on. And here I am standing by myself saying people are breaking my home and they're dangerous, right? And all of a sudden, one of them criminals is trapped in this room. Okay, they got a choice. Okay, they can pick up their phone and they can call their they can call 911 and say, I'm a criminal, I'm a burglar, I broke in this man's home in a private residence and he trapped me in this bathroom and he's out there with a gun. Please come arrest me and throw me in jail. Okay, but so he don't find out I'm here and shoot me. Okay, but then they didn't want to make that choice. You know what they did? They got a hold of their friends and they said, let's kill Buddy and collect that life insurance and get this house. That's what it looks like happened. So that looks like one of the motives here. And so, anyways, that's really what I was going to show you. Y'all got questions, and I can. Doris asked a question a minute ago, and you'll have to ask it again because I was busy talking. I might be able to find it on the computer. Anybody have any questions, Doris? Let me see. I don't see it. Well, I don't see it. But it's not stand your ground. Hey. So it shows that I got 10 comments, but I only see 4. And then looking at my screen, I don't see it. So I just know a minute ago while I was talking, Doris asked a question and I didn't read it and thought I'd come back to it. And now I don't know what it is. So you either have to re-ask it or we close out. If you have, there we go. Is it true they used bomb robots to clear your home before they entered? I saw that in a police report that the bomb squad had used robots, but keep in mind that the police incident report shows no police were at my home. Okay, until 3 days later, and because I'm shot on January 28, 2012. Okay. The first 2 secret police that showed up, I just found that out earlier this year who they were. The first one that showed up was Martin County Sheriff John Woodward, not even from Midland, okay? And he's that sheriff over there, the former sheriff from Martin County that you know, he ended up resigning after he got caught getting drunk with an inmate and getting a devil tattoo. He was married to Devin Sanchez, I think, with CBS 7. But anyway, I was told that he was the very first person at my house minutes after I crawled out. Okay, he was followed by the late Sheriff Deputy Mike Naylor that died in 2014. Okay, so I have their pictures, and so hold on a second, Kathy, and I don't know what you're talking about. Let me finish this. And so I have their pictures, but the police report shows me no police at my home. And what happened was 3 days later, Detective Rodriguez comes to the hospital and asked me to sign a consent to search form so they could go to my house and start the investigation. And I didn't know at that time that they had already been in my house, okay? And it was only because 2 years later, during protective order hearing that my attorney subpoenaed records, did we see in police reports where a robot was pulled in here. But obviously, the secret police were in here stealing evidence, planting evidence I told them about. So that was all part of the ruse, part of the con job, part of the cover up of this capital murder attempt. The reason they remained secret for 6 years with a $2,000 reward offered is not because they're innocent. It's because they're guilty. Okay, here, who is the guy that is making these live videos that keep talking crap about you? Oh, are you talking? Oh, I think you may be talking about Clinton Dunn. Is that what you're talking about? And I don't know how much crap Clinton Dunn's talking about. I watch his videos. He's Haley Dunn's father, and there's a connection between Haley Dunn. She's a famous missing child. Okay, nationally famous. That's a huge story. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay, Haley Dunn is a huge story. If you Google it, you'll see CBS, NBC, Nancy Grace, people all over the nation. Millions of people know who Haley Dunn is. And Clint Dunn is her father, okay? She went missing 2 months after that 2010 oil show party, okay? In December 27, 2010, okay? And then I'm shot in 2012, okay? And then on March 14, 2013, I write the Department of Justice Safe Child Project. I email them. I have the email, and I post it all the time. And I suggest that they come to my home and they look for and they find these underground facilities, the tunnels that multiple people are documented saying is here, and they look for clues in the disappearance of the then still missing Haley Dunn. Okay, famous case. Okay, and that's only 80 miles from here, Colorado City is. Okay, and so 13-year-old Colorado City, Texas cheerleader. 2 days later, her remains are found in Scurry County. And, she's been gone over 2 years. And that's my connection to the Haley Dunn case, is that I contacted the Department of Justice and suggested that they look in this underground facility, and all of a sudden, boom. Well, now I've got a half dozen people documented on phone calls, print screens, etc., saying that she was murdered and overdosed, murdered, and buried over in Odessa. And I'm talking about who kidnapped her, where she was held, who gave her the shot that killed her, who ordered the shot that killed her, houses she was at, the places that she was buried, all of this, okay? Recorded phone calls, print screens, etc. It's too many to deny, okay? I mean, that's all there is to it. And all saying that she's buried over in Odessa, except her remains are found in Scurry County 2 days after I write the Department of Justice. That can only tell you one thing, right? Is that somebody moved her body because of that email, okay? And there's a bigger story on Haley Dunn, but that's a huge story. And so I've talked to Clint on the phone just the other day, and I told him some of this evidence, and then he comes in, and I know he's upset, the ex-wife Billy, okay, and her boyfriend Sean and all that, but from all the people I've talked to, Billy and Sean wasn't there when she died, and so that's where we're in a disagreement. He thinks Billy and Sean did it, and as far as I know, he has no evidence to back that up, And from all I know is what people told me, and I've got half a dozen people saying it was these people over in Odessa. So anyway, that's a good point. That's a good question. Anybody else have any questions? There's been a huge amount of slander and lies, attacks. And one thing that I post this all the time is the Hobbs Act. I think there's a concerted effort by people in this gang. Remember, I was told you don't know how many lives you ruin. That means there are a lot of people. Okay, I believe it's connected to human trafficking. I know one thing. I'll tell you another story. When the ex-wife was moving her stuff out a couple weeks before I was shot, okay, she was here. We had boxes. We loaded them in the truck, okay. And I said, I know about the tunnels. I already called the DEA. That's what I told her. I had just called the DEA, okay? And then she's sitting there and she's thinking about what I'm saying, And I'm sure she's thinking the DEA, well, they're going to do what they're supposed to do. They're going to come over, find the tunnels. They're going to expose it all, okay? And she looks at me and right in the eye real slowly says, I'm not a part of a prostitution ring. I hadn't said anything about a prostitution ring. I had said that, that I knew about the tunnels, and I called the DEA. Okay, that just confirmed to me that what was going on here. Further confirmation that the whole thing is connected. So I think that's what was the connection to the people that are in the underground facility that's going to ruin their lives. You don't know how many lives you ruined with your idiocy, etc. And this large group, I think they're connected with this human trafficking ring, prostitution ring. And so that's why they wrongfully attack me and tell lies and slander and etc. and threaten me. I have one guy writes me and says, we have access to your residence at all times. No one will ever believe your story. You will be silenced, not if, but when. That's a direct threat. That's only one death threat I've got, and then I've got all these other people over here, and I post them quite a bit, and it's a huge number. I'd move if I was you. I'd move if I was you, and I've told all kinds of people different things. The Japs come in and bombed us in Pearl Harbor. Did we move because they come to our home? Right? Think about that. Did they move when bad guys come to your home? You don't. Homes don't kill people. People kill people. Another thing I say, I can't outrun a bullet. They don't stop being cold-blooded killers because I move away. I'm not going to run for the rest of my life looking on my shoulder. This is the best place to get them stopped, okay? And it might stop them from coming to your home and cutting your phone lines and murdering you and your family, And so the danger's here, And hi, Kelly, Neil Kelly. And anybody else got any questions here? Yeah, there's some others. Yes, and I do too. I told him on the phone. I talked to him that I've got 2 daughters. Okay, I love with all my heart. I feel for that man. His daughter's gone. Okay, and so I understand people's hearts breaking. Okay, and so there's a couple things there. One, I understand that that back in Clinton, and the other thing, it's real possible that some of these people are connected to this huge amount of people. You don't know how many lives you ruin, and so they sure don't want buddies. They don't want the truth about me to come out. Okay, so I think we got a couple groups of people, but myself, like I said, I talked to Clint. I feel for him, and his daughter's gone, and I know he's upset. It has been 8 years, okay. And as far as I'm concerned, this should have been solved a long time ago. And I have recently been sending evidence. I've sent it to the, actually even before Clint started making these videos, I sent evidence to the Colorado City Police Facebook page, and they didn't reply. So I did it again, and they didn't reply again. So, I kept going, let me know you're getting this, so I'm knowing that they're getting it, and I'm not getting hacked, And I really believe they are, because I could see sin on the bottom. It's like they're purposely ignoring me, and I'm sending them evidence on the murder of a child. So then I email the chief of police for Colorado City. Once again, nothing, okay? So then I turn around, and it's like, I'm going to contact Odessa Crime Stoppers. A couple reasons is that, multiple people said Haley was murdered in Odessa Crime Stoppers. One question I followed you for some years. Did they definitely 100% try and kill you? And what's the story? Explain quickly. Okay. And I'll come back to that, Neil Kelly. But then I started contacting, I was also sending it to the Texas Rangers and to the Attorney General Paxton. Because I'm just trying to find one good cop. The evidence is there. That case should be over. There's plenty of evidence for them to go in there and they can do, police can do so much more than what I can do. They can subpoena phone records and get people and question them and threaten them and all the other stuff they do. I can't do that, but I've sure given them lots of evidence that just by the mass of it, it's enough. I think that's all that case. Okay, did they definitely 100% try and kill you? Okay, I'm going to go back over what I did at the beginning here. Okay, the evidence shows, not Buddy saying, the evidence shows that the size of pellets were 2.5 sizes different than what was in my gun. that shows I wasn't shot with my gun. What I believe I was shot with is called a Glazer safety slug, okay? And there's a couple reasons there. One, it's fired from a handgun, and that fits the space limitations because I'm in a little bitty room, okay? That was another reason I knew I wasn't shot with my gun, because there wasn't enough room in there, okay? And so, here's pellets, okay? Well, they're pellet-filled plastic-tip bullets. That's what a Glazer safety slug is, okay? I believe they were chosen on purpose to make it look like I've been shot with a shotgun. Because the people breaking in my home that I've been reporting to the police all this time, they know everything about me. They know I got a shotgun. They know I'm going to get that shotgun out. They know there's a shotgun here. And then more than that, it looks like somebody was shot with a shotgun 11 days before me, okay? And that possibly might have given them the idea. And here's how I know that. Dr. Hinton, a radiologist, okay? He examined my x-rays, and I show this on Facebook sometimes. He says that he compared my x-rays from January 17th, the injury date, to others I had taken on January 19th, okay? And then he gave his little explanation, okay? The problem is I was shot on the 28th, 11 days later, okay? That's 2 different dates. So he wasn't looking at my x-rays. That's what's made me suspect that Dr. Hinton was looking at somebody else's x-rays, somebody that had been shot with a shotgun 11 days before me. And I believe that was the faked x-rays, was that guy's foot in the faked x-rays on the night I'm shot. They took them x-rays and they put my name on them, because I've already proven all that. The timestamps of the x-rays are before they were ordered by the ER doctor, who turned out to be my brother-in-law I didn't know about, okay, remember? And the other thing that happened in the medical records, I'll go over this is a medical record story. I get up there at the ER doctor, my brother-in-law, that I don't know about, orders 3 x-rays, okay, on my foot, okay? This secret lab tech named User in Interface, to this day, nobody will name, okay? He cancels the doctor's orders, and he reorders 2 x-rays. That's weird, ain't it? Okay? And it's also weird, it's a lab tech you can't, that's signing in with a fake name, okay, with a secret name, okay? And then he returns the x-rays, okay, that are faked, we know are faked, okay? And they're time-stamped before the ER doctor had ordered them. That's why he canceled the 3 x-rays, because he didn't have enough faked x-rays to fill the order. That's what happened, okay? Except we don't know who User in Interface is, okay? But it looks like that here 11 days earlier, somebody got shot with a shotgun. Maybe that gave them an idea to shoot me with a special ammunition with a handgun that's loaded with pellets, has a plastic tip. Here's one more piece of evidence. The surgeon in surgery says he removed a lot of plastic and lead from my foot. A standard shotgun doesn't have any plastic. It has the wadding as a one piece, and that was supposedly removed by the ER doctor anyway. Okay, so there's unexplained, where did all this plastic come from? Well, them Glazer safety slugs are plastic tipped pellets, and the size of the pellets are matched the size of the pellets in the lab report. Okay, so we put all this together. One, nobody, and since we know I wasn't shot with my gun, automatically somebody come to my home and shot me. That's premeditated murder. We know they cut my phone lines. That's why I crawled out. Do you ever think about, why didn't you just pick up the phone and call? Okay, reason is my phone lines were cut. Here's another interesting story here. Okay, on the phones, before that day, my cell phone had mysteriously disappeared. Keep in mind, I got people breaking my house. They got full access to my house all the time, okay? Obviously, they stole my cell phone. Well, then, okay, when I get shot, I had the cordless phone in my pocket, okay? And I don't go around carrying this big old phone in my pocket on a normal basis. I had burglar alarms going off. I was concerned. And then I'm ambushed and shot, and I fall to the ground, but I don't see the shooter. I didn't know what happened because they ambushed me. And I try to use the phone. It's dead. That's what forced me to crawl out, is because they cut my phone lines. They literally shot me, listened to me scream for help, and waited for me to die. That's what happened, okay? And then so when I get back from the hospital, I got the pictures of the secret police, and the only reason we know that they were here is because they tried to disable the camera and accidentally started it. Because the police report shows no police here for 3 more days when Rosa Rodriguez showed up at the hospital pretending they were going to go to my house and start the investigation. Okay, so I got them pictures. One of them pictures is Rosa Rodriguez leaned over the nightstand where I found my cell phone when I returned from the hospital. She obviously was planting my stolen phone that was taken before I'm shot. It looks like people in the Midland Police Department were involved in the upfront part of this premeditated, cold-blooded killing. Absolutely, 100% tried to kill me. That's the answer, and the evidence shows that. You don't have to take. It's not Buddy's word, you know, and it's not my assessment. The evidence shows that. And no reasonable person can deny that. Any other questions? Well, I'm going to close it out, guys, and I hope you got something good out of that. Talk to you later.